click on it. And all right, so that's automatic.
There you go, Lenny.
Okay, all right, so call to order. Sure, so what is it, 5:34? So. All right, this is Lenny Zawonka, Emergency Management Director. We're doing another emergency management meeting. Should we go around and introduce ourselves or we keep doing this? So,
Whatever you want to do.
all right, yeah, we can go around.
Melissa McPhee O'Neill, Select Board.
Eric Stocker, Select Board. No. Devin Pelletier, Police Department.
Kristen Burgess, Police Chief.
Leslie Braceford, clerk to the
Where's me?
emergency management team.
Howard.
Oh, that's it.
You can have, and then we also have
Online.
online, we have Rita Farrell. Dave
Rita
Grenier.
Farrell, Select Board.
Yep. Dave?
Dave Grenier, you know I am.
Yep. We know that guy. And
Simons, Garrett Simonson has his, there he goes.
Garrett Simonson, Board of Health.
so, all right, has everybody read the minutes?
Yes.
Do they look good?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, do I make a motion to accept? them?
Motion to accept.
Second. Lenny, aye.
Which way do you want to go around?
For the bottom.
McPhee O'Neill, aye.
Stocker, aye.
Burgess, aye.
Braceford, aye.
Cinder,
Those online?
Farrell, I.
Simonson, I.
Dave?
Am I supposed to say aye?
Yep.
Okay,
Oh,
aye.
Listen, listen, no.
Only if you abstain, if you weren't here last time.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing that's it.
I'll put Mr. String.
Okay.
All right, anything about old business other than what's on the agenda?
What's the story with them having the DCR gentleman come out here and give a little talk to town or whatever?
He left it with you guys. You guys voted on, voted.
We had to take
ha-
it back there.
You had to take it back to the select board, accept it. And then you guys, I believe, were supposed to contact him and he was
Oh,
supposed to,
Okay,
basically come up with a time. He said this time of year is the most busiest for brush fires, so he's not gonna have time until probably the middle of the summer.
oh, okay,
So,
We'll put it on our next agenda.
okay.
yeah. So, but the way I read it from my last meeting when he was here, it's pretty much in between you and him.
Yeah, okay, good. That's it. All right. Yeah, I kind of forgot that, but
Careful.
maybe it wasn't.
Delegate.
Well,
I mean, I pretend it wasn't.
I'm sure I'll be talking to him about it anyways. So, let's see, I was in contact with Nathan Moreau. He was in the last, couple meetings ago. He's a, local coordinator from NEMA. And, he was coming up with he wanted to do a possible large brush fire tabletop exercise at the, town hall, possibly July 15th. And we could invite the neighboring fire departments. And I've never done a tabletop exercise like this. I've sat through one in Leverett a couple months ago. And, he pretty much comes up with a large scenario and he starts asking questions and how we're gonna respond and go from that. So that's just one thing I would like to ask permission, obviously, from the select board, town hall, if I can use the town hall. The basement July 15th, probably between like 10 and 12.
What day of the week? I'm just curious.
Looking in.
Why not? I brought it up. July. It'll be a Tuesday,
We have a select board meeting that night,
but this would be during the day. So we'd possibly have like, Leverett Fire Chief, Leverett Emergency Management Director. You know, we can have the police come in. It's gonna be gotta invite like, the Wendell New Salem Fire Chief, if they're available. So it'd be during the day, starting either at 9 or 10. It's only gonna last an hour or two, so we're not gonna be,
I think it's a great idea.
yeah, we're not gonna be here all day. He also suggested also that maybe we could do a tabletop exercise with a dam, since how we're been talking about the damn EAP a lot. That would be a good one, but I know he's got one set up for brush fires and that's what he has suggested
love it.
right now, so. Yeah, I'm just asking the select board if this is okay to use the town hall for that.
As far as I'm looking.
Yeah.
at
So long as you let the town administrator know, no one else will be able to use it.
Yeah,
But,
Yeah, Haley's got a calendar going.
the eighth is,
yeah, I
the
don't,
eighth is the senior council on aging, I think, lunch or the first.
yeah, is there,
There's
is there a
the
schedule?
first, but the first might coincide with 4th of July, so.
What, calendar do I
The
have?
fourth is on Friday.
So what I've been doing is just emailing her, like if we have a training or something we need to do, and just asking if the room is taken or if we can have it. And then I think that she has a calendar she's been using.
Okay. So as long
I'm not,
as-
I don't think it's one that we have availability to look at yet. But yeah,
Okay, so I'll write this down. I got approval pending town administrator's approval.
yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Kristen, do you recall when the Leverett folks did something in Shutesbury back, I don't know if it was a year or two ago? There was some sort of a practice that they had in town and they didn't, my recollection is that they didn't notify us ahead of time. Do you recall what that was?
Yeah, so that was actually something that didn't have anything to do with emergency management. That goes back to the gentleman from Dudleyville Road that went
Oh,
missing.
a missing person.
That's right, that's right. And so they had the state police come in and they were utilizing new equipment and staging in Shutesbury. But yes, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago,
Yeah,
yeah.
2 years ago, that's right.
But that was
Yeah.
an exercise, right? Was that an
It
exercise?
was an exercise, but to locate missing persons really and utilize their equipment in that capacity.
I see, okay. Thank you.
Not to do with, like fire or anything
Right,
or emergency management, but yep, they did. It was an exercise. They
Yeah.
did.
Okay,
And it worked out that they had something that they could, like an actual, not just a scenario, that there was a person who was, not found,
Right.
still not found.
Still not found,
Still
yeah.
not found, but yeah.
wow, okay. All right, good thing. I just recalled that and I was trying to remember what that was about.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is more of a table talk. We're just gonna be in the basement going through several scenarios.
Uh-huh,
And we were not gonna have any fire trucks or anything like that. This is more logistics and admin type exercise. So,
and who participates, Lenny?
pretty much anybody who wants to be involved. I was gonna invite the, Leverett Fire Department, Leverett Emergency Management, same thing with the Wendell and New Salem Fire Department, Emergency Management, and police are welcome to be here. Because obviously if the fire gets big enough, we're probably gonna wanna start thinking about evacuations, and the police will be.
so
the best
basically
for
it would
evacuation.
just be like a verbalization of the scenario and what each different department is going to be doing and how the emergency management is going to work cooperatively through the
Yes.
process.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Does that include members of the team here or no?
I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
You're welcome to join in, I guess. I mean, you're invited, but it wouldn't be necessary. It's kind of like mostly a fire department drill. And I'll have to, discuss about my run cards and which departments are gonna be doing what. I know Mark Rivers from the, Shutesbury Lake Oil Advisory Committee is kind of concerned about how we're gonna handle large brush fires, so, I mean, he'll be welcome to attend too, but.
okay. It's open to the public?
I don't know if we really want everybody from the public showing up. So,
I was just curious how Leverett did it.
yeah, no, they just had all the when Leverett did theirs, it was just all department heads.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So. Yeah, I think, that's that. Next item is the, Lake Wyler Dam EAP. I sent it out last month to look at, if I got phone numbers right or wrong. Hopefully somebody says something to me. I did put Haley down with her cell number. That's pretty much the only real change for phone numbers I put on that. And in this copy, I scanned and inserted a bunch of pages, so this EAP is complete, just in one file, which I think is gonna make things easier to hand out to everybody. So I would like right now, or right after this meeting, I'd like to email this exact copy that I'm gonna be submitting to everybody. Of course, this is confidential, it's got private citizens' phone numbers on it. And once this gets done, we can do a redacted copy and put it on the town website without people's phone numbers, names and phone numbers, because, you know, this is a confidential copy, just private numbers.
Perfect. Lenny, I have a redaction system that I use if, when it comes to that time, when you're ready, I'm happy to help with that.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So when I send this out, I would like to do a Zoom meeting with all the affected parties downstream. And so obviously, most people on the emergency management team don't really have to be with a meeting, but it'd be more so like a Zoom meeting during the day, working hours of the day. So the Leverett Emergency Management Director, Leverett Fire Chief, Leverett Police Chief, same thing with Montague, will be able to attend this and we can review the whole dam. Because it's mostly Leverett is actually mostly affected. We only have 4 houses we have to worry about. Leverett has, you know, a lot.
Yeah.
And it all goes downhill, so it should be taken seriously if something were to happen.
Mhm.
And so I'd really like to do a Zoom meeting and gets that set up at some point. So I'm gonna email this copy out to everybody on the emergency management team. And also I'll have another email group with everybody affected downstream to try to set up a Zoom meeting.
Perfect.
So we can all review it all together. So I know the DCR wants to see this be reviewed by everybody once a year, so it'll be good to do that.
Great.
So, any questions?
Yeah, my same question again.
Yep.
This sounds like, again, it'll be you,
Yeah,
department heads and not the team.
yeah, I don't think it really has to be the team. I think the team can be invited, but if you're busy, you're not required to go, I think. Because, you know, you're not in the exact EAP for if a disaster strikes, you know, I'm not contacting you to notify, it's so the Leverett's EMD is responsible to contact all the Leverett residents if there's a disaster, so that's kind of my priority, that's kind of why it's in the middle of the day. I know the select board meets at nights because you guys have jobs during the day or not available during the day, so it's, you know, it is what
They
it
have
is.
jobs, they don't have jobs.
Yeah. So you can show up. Yeah, I'll put
And
the,
essentially, that would just be to
To
review the
review.
plan with them, so
Yeah.
they're aware of. what-
yes,
Yeah, perfect.
yeah, so they're aware that they have a dam upstream.
Yes.
I think some people in Leverett that live right next to a river have no clue that there's a dam upstream from them. So,
Okay,
um,
I'm probably not sure about the flood insurance. I'm not sure.
When do we get to what we found was needs to be changed?
uh,
Just a couple of things.
concrete stick.
Says dirt, and something like that. The other one says, something about lowering the spillway gate. Still doesn't have anything.
I think for that Zoom meeting, it would be good to have you there, Howie. for
Yeah,
sure.
totally. She was saying what's wrong with us? We're at 9, concrete spillway?
It says, I think it says dirt or something in there. I should, I might look to the window, maybe I got my mark. Yeah, tell me about it.
This is extremely urgent, dam failure that turns or obviously was about to.
It says earth dam, spillway.
The situation. Flow, when flow through the earth spillway is causing downstream flooding.
And it's concrete.
Yeah. The thing is, this has been wrote quite a while ago, and I hate to change engineering definitions on things. When
They are on page 21.
21, no page.
Secret in technical item 1.
Sluice Gate 21.
There's open principal speed, spillway gate,
Yeah,
should be sluice gate.
Spillway Gate. Spillway Gate to Sluice Gate, right? Yeah.
That's it. Well, say, 19 didn't have a number on it. But let's go ahead and do it.
Okay,
This one, boy.
18, 17. Okay. Okay,
This is sluice way.
Hmm?
page 21.
Oh, sorry.
My dad used to bake sluice gates, so, I think in a way, they're probably, the definition is probably the same. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe they're just talking about when the water is flowing through the
Okay.
earth spillway. Maybe they're talking about earth anyway, like the log, stuff like that.
Yeah, but it isn't
right?
earth.
Says sliding
Yeah.
or other device controlling the flow of water, especially in a
That's one of
lot.
the things we gotta
Flowing through, I
Gorgeous.
mean, I read that as flowing through underneath the earth,
Which one's that's the spillway?
Well, that's a repair they gotta make,
yeah.
It
but
should
that's
be.
not where it should be going.
Yeah, it should be, if everything was working properly. it would-
Latin,
over.
the origin excluder, and then Old
does
French
have
ex
leaks
loose,
underneath,
loops,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
skates. And then it goes to Middle English. We do have a language professor in the room.
So are you saying?
I'm reserved about changing kind of wordage on certain things like this, just because I wasn't the one who wrote the dam, and I know when you change things, you can turn into cans of worms down the road, even something as simple as.
You could,
concrete earth.
you could put it in parentheses next to it,
That
so leave
sounds
the
like a
original
good idea.
context there.
Yeah, so.
and then
Correct,
next
yeah.
to it, put the in parentheses more.
So if I
water.
put parentheses, earth, or concrete,
Because
Whatever his.
who knows that it was ever.
And that
meant
later,
carefully.
you're both, right,
yeah,
yeah,
I understood. for a
okay.
fact.
Yeah,
because the terminology may be
I
interchangeable.
had so many.
So that's
things
your
that
suggestion. You should
I
know both.
Yeah.
It was a verb.
Oh, I had to-
Yeah.
I only
Yeah.
did 20 pages today.
You have it.
Otherwise,
And it's up to-
Oh, rivers, as a kid,
You got it.
up there.
Oh,
rivers just
Going off around with it.
Right.
Yeah, I can do that, yeah, so I'll just put that with it.
Yeah, all right. Okay,
Yeah, if I'm a member of the team, I'd say at least in parentheses, if you see an error, because you don't catch everything the first time.
yeah, this was written a number of years ago, and
You could say AKA, also known
Yeah.
as.
That's a good way to say
There's a
it,
few ways
yeah.
to note it.
yeah.
And
When
I would
does,
just say thank you to Howie for reading it word for word too, because
Right.
who knows how many of us did.
I know what that all means.
Yeah, I respect that you did it.
the Lake Wildwood Advisory Committee, when they meet and they get the inspections done on the dam.
Yeah.
Does that inspection report come up at some point to recommend that this plan be redone?
I think what happens is you get the report and then you decide to put whatever.
Yeah, I think,
If there's
well, in
anything
fact,
there
they're the
in-
ones that said we had to have one to start with.
Yeah, and I think at some point, like 10 years ago or in 2016, they're like, you need to have a new plan, because
Right,
this old plan
yeah.
isn't good. So I was wondering if whoever does the inspections
If they,
on the dam, if they.
but we just had one, so
Yeah,
we'll find
we're good
out.
for another 2 years,
Yeah, man, we see if it's in that report.
yeah,
I haven't seen it.
yeah,
When was it done?
some last fall, right?
No, it was done, I think it was done, or they're gonna do one this month or.
Maybe they're
something
gonna
like
do
that.
that.
I thought, when did they start?
They did one earlier this spring, which was to cover the time back when they didn't do one, I think it was,
Yeah,
and then they have to do another one.
yeah, yeah, Mark Rivers sent me a recent one in the fall,
Yeah,
so that's why I thought it was fall.
might say something on that one too. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one either.
So we might be revisiting it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the situation on where the dam EAQ. Any other questions on? Yo, you want that?
So no formal vote to accept it or anything,
I don't, do we have to do a vote for it?
I don't know.
We can if you want to make something.
Make
I
a
was
motion.
only
So,
doing, asking.
With the amendment,
Yeah,
right?
so I'll make a motion that we accept I need the title. The full title. Emergency action plan for the Raymond Red Moriarty Dam at Lake Viola as amended.
Second. Yep, sorry.
All right, Lenny, aye. All those in favor, Lenny, aye.
Make these on,
Tucker,
Burgess, aye.
Oh, Bracebridge, I.
Kinder,
Really good, work on that, Lane. It's very
Carol,
cool.
I.
Simon.
Sorry,
That's an aye. He's muted.
yeah,
That's an aye.
okay. Sorry, I forgot.
Yep. Okay.
Really good work though, Lenny.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good, thank you. All right, where's the next?
No, emergency.
Yeah, other thing, our updated comprehensive emergency management plan, or the SEMP plan for short. I gotta talk, I sent this out 2 months ago about if the names are fine,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty sure the only thing we have to get, I just need to be the school superintendent, which I can pretty easily ask Dan McGill. So, has everybody reviewed this I sent out? So, if there's any questions on it, the one thing that I do want that I'm kind of waiting on, which we can still vote for this and go for it, can always add that I want a shelter plan, emergency shelter plan attached to it.
Mhm.
And, I want something that's, the same as other communities, basically. I don't want to write our own and realize we're missing a few important steps.
we have two options for emergency shelter. First here, it's
Yeah.
a certain type of emergency, and
Yeah.
then the large shit hitting the fan. is
Yeah.
the school.
I want an easy checklist and an easy set of instructions for it. That's
Yep.
written down, that's all, that anybody walking into even my position or Kristen's position would just see it, emergency action plan, and then have one page of this is what you need for the shelter and run with it. That's
And where to
kind-
find it.
And that's basically what I want. I want something very, pretty simple and also universal from similar to other, communities. So I'm talking with Nate shortly and hopefully we can work on that. So other than that, I would like to, when this gets completely updated, I'd like to accept it, as long as you guys are, as long as it, gets approval by you guys.
something I'm supposed to be able to do, it's just,
This is,
down. Like there's anything there.
there's nothing for the dam in here.
Yeah.
This is like, kind of like boilerplate, every town needs a SEMP plan. And it kind of outlines the responsibilities of the police, the fire, the highway. It pretty much simplifies that and, yeah,
Again, we went from, and I talked with you about this, we went from a book, if everyone can see that big, to a much more comprehensive,
Yeah.
booklet here. Makes much more sense in the event that, something is gonna happen, things are very easily findable, and we have everything we need in there, there's,
yeah.
know,
It's 90
yeah.
pages. It's 90, we're going from like 400 pages to like 90 pages.
Mhm.
So, obviously my checklist in there is gonna make it go to 92 or something, but. Leslie, did you have a question?
I had a number of things such as Howie, except I didn't do a nice neat list. I thought we were going over that today, but you're considering it done, so I don't know. If
No, no.
I'm after the fact.
Do you have names? Names to update for the SEMP plan?
No,
Okay.
no, it's content.
Okay,
Because when was that last done? 21 or something? What does the footnote say? Because for starters, on the copy you sent out, the footnote.
it said 2021.
Yes, has that been updated to 2025? It should be.
Well,
Right, but here, Oh, that doesn't show up on what you sent out. At
This
the,
is the same thing I sent out. I just hit print.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
At the bottom, in the footnote, it still says 2021. I think
Yeah.
that's fine. If it doesn't have it, that's great.
It could have, it could have been the dam.
Yeah,
I know I had the date wrong on the dam.
okay, well, I think, well, that's only the first one. And I assume you got it here. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
emergency.
I had the
action.
dam, I had the dam date
Yeah.
wrong on the bottom.
Okay, so it has Gabe, the version that we got back, like you said, a couple months ago, still had Gabe, and I think it should say Haley, maybe you got
Yes.
that one.
I fixed Haley on the dam. But when I meet with Nate again, I'll make sure we'll put Haley in.
That's on page 2.
Yep,
Okay, now, it said Rita as a co-chair in one place, Melissa as a co-chair in the other place. And for the signatures, I forget who it says, and I just wonder if it should be a double line that says Melissa and Rita as co-chairs, or all three of you.
Yeah, it could have.
I don't know, it just seems like it should
Seems
either be
like-
consistently one or the other, because when it's not side reader, I'm thinking, who
I've
is this?
noticed on a couple times, sometimes it's like Melissa's co-chair, or Rita's co-chair, and it's like, oh, it's fine, I'll just sign it, well. So,
I can look at it for
Yeah.
that content. Unless
I don't know if it seems to make sense that since there's two of you, I don't know how you handle it at the select board end, so maybe it's silly. Page 5 is where I thought maybe 2 signatures would be a smart thing to do.
First he was talking there.
But, well,
We got
good
five.
point. It can be
Yeah.
one or it could be 2.
I think it
Okay.
makes sense if it's co-chair, it should be 2. Page 10, the census data is still from 2010. I didn't have time to look up the new census data, and maybe you don't care, but if there should be 2020 census data on it.
Yep, that was one thing I know, Nate was gonna, I know that was one subject
Put it right in it.
Nate said he was gonna update. When he left, when we did this. So that shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, that's wonderful. So,
I'm writing in it so we know this.
Yeah.
page 11, 1, hazardous materials, with cell tower, associated with cell tower. I noticed, I wondered no, maybe on page 11, it says hazardous materials about the solar farm, and I'm wondering, I don't know, are there any hazardous materials associated with the cell tower?
There is, at the cell tower,
Yeah, would there be?
there's a generator there, and that's about it, so they
Okay.
would have a fuel, they got a fuel permit.
I was just thinking of things that have occurred
Yeah.
since it was written,
The,
and it doesn't say anything about the auto wrecking place, or maybe that's not the right place for it.
Clark's.
Clark's.
Yep,
yeah,
And the other thing was the electric facility on Pratt Corner Road, would they have a hazardous materials?
they do have that, they got Tesla storage buildings there.
which one are we?
Pratt
on
Corner
Pratt
Road.
Corner
Oh,
Road.
we, yep,
So I'm
So-
just wondering if those would be additional sites that should be mentioned on page 11.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
we got the solar. The cell tower, the auto.
On pages 12 and 13, it lists Temenos as one of the, what is the title there? At the top of the list of facilities or something? I'm wondering why it lists Temenos and not Sirius, because they both
Where is that?
are
What page?
similar, page 12 to 13.
Oh, 12.
There's a list of, that Morse Hill was on it.
Okay.
Temenos.
doesn't have serious, the definition is kind of weird.
Yeah,
You might
so
wanna
tell-
take out.
Can you repeat the definition, because I don't have that.
So Temenos is more of a recreation place where people come and visit and kind of rent a cabin for the weekend.
Okay.
My kind of thought process on, Sears community is more residential.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're
But
allowed to talk about
definition.
residential like that.
They also do have where they can come and rent space, Sirius does, where they can come and rent space. They have people who stay just for weekends for,
So we probably should add.
like, they have events, small within the community events that people come maybe for the weekend, so I think Leslie, correct, we should probably add them in that.
Yeah.
But
The majority of it is residential, but they do have that component.
Yeah,
So what is the definition? Because then I was also wondering that depending with the state park beach that has large groups of people in the summer, would that be, I'm not, reread the definition.
yeah, we could put the state beach on.
Can you
Yeah.
read the definition for me?
Uh,
That's special.
Well. We have. Yeah, special facilities including schools, daycare, assisted living camps, halfway houses, mobile home parks, nursing homes, jails and prisons, and other building housing vulnerable population. Shutesbury is home to the following special facilities: campgrounds, Camp Pinebrook, Morse Hill Recreation Area, Temenos. Then we have Shutesbury Elementary School, Lake Wyola Building, Lake Wyola Association Building, and Town Hall.
So
So-
it was, some of those didn't exactly fit the definition, and if we're looking at it in terms of an emergency, it seems like the state beach is a place where a
Yeah.
lot of people gather.
I'm
And that's,
happy with
has
putting
the
the state beach
potential
down, yeah.
for
So we should add state beach.
Yeah.
94 Lakeview, Lenny.
What about the AC, should that be in there?
Special facilities including schools, daycare, assisted living, camps, halfway houses, mobile home parks, nursing homes, jails and prisons, and other buildings housing vulnerable population. Man, we could put.
I would think so. Could be vulnerable, right?
What state are they in?
But my point was where, is that where it would belong, but any place
Yeah.
now where large groups of people gather is a potential for problems.
Yeah,
And it's got the elementary school.
yeah. I'm fine with adding, so we're gonna go back, just add state beach, add boat ramp, or no? I mean.
I think
darn
it
if
just
you do,
says
darn-
state beach.
Darn if you do, darn if you don't, but we're talking about I got Sears community.
Well, you can say state beach, but to
And-
also include the boat ramp, it's up to you,
Yeah.
Lenny. I don't,
Two separate locations, though, that's why I don't wanna mix it up.
yeah, I don't know if that's, I
It's
don't,
like a mile away, so it's like, I don't wanna.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
I
two
would-
separate addresses, so.
no, I don't really
Um,
think that
It's
one,
not a large group.
yeah, I don't think that.
But
Shutesbury
I think
Athletic Club.
Eric has something,
Yeah,
because a lot of people gather there.
yeah, you know, 100 people.
The church should be on there, because that does have vulnerable
Oh,
population.
church,
Church.
yep, didn't even think that one.
Solar array, radio tower, we have the dam, Baker Reservoir, Athens Reservoir.
Did you have
And-
separate? Because I have here, add cell tower
Saying
410
including
window.
schools.
This one says, so this one has public works and town buildings,
Yeah,
so library
should
should.
be on there.
And is that the one, Melissa, where, the cell tower would be appropriate? Page
The new
13.
library might have a bunch of people. in it on a
Infrastructure of the
given
cell
time.
Yeah.
tower could be listed, yeah.
Well, we have one Cooleyville.
And remove the Dudleyville Pond Dam because.
Yeah, I got that crossed out already. Yeah, 491, well, we also have power solar array at Crack Corner. We don't have Crack, we just have 491 for the National Grid substation.
On
So
page-
this is solar panels for the,
Oh, yeah,
For the town hall?
Buildings.
Maybe
this
you
is,
should put the notation town hall,
Yeah.
the next one.
do we even have to write it twice?
Are you addressing the?
So it's down
towns,
at the
one
next
who-
one where it just says solar array and the address, but it might be helpful under the description to put town hall fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because on page 13, I saw one Cooleyville Road twice, and I think that's what you're saying, that. it's
Yeah.
one.
42 Lever Road is mentioned twice.
Yeah.
So, but we should also add the solar array on Track Warner Road.
Maybe put Wheelock next to it, because we all know that.
The wheel on.
Yeah, Wheelock, we all know that, that's you know, like take a left at the big oak trees.
Yeah.
We all know it as Wheelock rather than the solar array.
Okay,
Um,
yep,
back on page 11, I was just curious, they list, 202 Leverett Road maybe as being, highways of concern for, I didn't want to print out 90 pages, I apologize, but they
Yeah.
listed 2 roads for, large vehicles going through that might have the hazardous materials. And
yeah,
I'm just trying to get a better understanding, like, propane trucks come down all of our roads, are they not the same category as that?
honestly, I'm
Propane.
more scared of the propane truck than the oil truck going down the road, but that's just me.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm wondering why they just designated those 2 roads, because really, you know, a propane road, a truck going down Cooleyville or
I think-
Glenville Road gravel.
I think, you know, we can have a accident anywhere.
Right,
And a lot of this is kind of boilerplate, written, so if we live next to 91 with even more traffic, that would be, yeah, we have to put we have to mention the highways, so. When they come down here and they say we have to mention highways, well, we do have a section of 202 that goes through
Mhm.
us.
mhm,
And then our second major road is Leverett Road,
mhm. So why
So-
are we just gonna list the 2?
so
not the others?
we can't really list every single road, because then that doesn't make 202 and Leverett Road important.
I think GPS.
We couldn't just-
Yeah.
Those two,
Yeah.
but maybe a mention for, you could mention other roads, you know, just at the end.
Or not
This
list
does
them all,
not
but to
exclude
say
all of the roads.
all roads have the potential, because
Yeah,
GPS now, Pelham Hill Road, a lot of cars cut through from Pelham down to Leverett Road that way too.
yeah,
And like you say, it's pretty general, but when you read it for content, it seems like there's, on page 25, it lists, north and south is 202, no, north is, as I say, okay, with me. It doesn't even list one of the directions, I think it might be
for
north,
the evacuation,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
east,
north.
Southwest.
Yeah, it skips north and 202 is north and south. East would really be Prescott Road to 202. North would also be Wendell Locks Pond Road, West Leverett Road and Lakeview Road. If you're evacuating the town, those are all major.
Yeah.
That
We'll do
was
that.
consideration. Thank you.
okay, yeah.
Should I keep going or should I stop?
No, this is fine.
Keep going.
That board-
I got more posted.
I'm sorry to take people's time. I know.
No, I
everybody
see
doesn't
Garrett's
have
hand
time.
though too. Do you mind if we take Garrett's hand?
Oh,
Let Leslie finish, and then I just have one edit.
Okay.
Page 26, I think this is just an editing kind of thing. There's a line through under incident commander, unified command. Generally, it'll need some neating up to get the pages aligned once all the edits are in, but right now, the
Okay.
copy I got, it's lined out, and I don't think it should be. On page 48, it's talking about the different people in the command structure, I think it's what it's called, or something like that. And I know it had emergency management director, the deputy director. My recollection from doing minutes all the years is assistant emergency manager used to be Mark Foster. Did that position get,
No, we haven't filled that position.
but it still exists? Or should it just be deleted?
I haven't gotten that far with the
Okay.
emergency management structure.
So leave it
So we
alone.
could, if we could get rid of it, if that's, if we want to do that, or we could keep it if we want.
Maybe assess it and see if you.
We could,
Yeah.
I just,
I can
Yeah.
put it on, I can make that an agenda next,
I don't necessarily need to, I just
yeah.
didn't know.
I
that
kind of,
was
when
a-
I saw that, it's just like, so it's got the list of secession and, lots of small towns, a lot of those things, not every position is filled.
Yeah,
And that's kind of like fact of life, sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not.
I just wasn't sure if it was a position made specifically for Mark because he volunteered so much, or if
Yeah.
it was a real position.
I bet larger towns definitely have it, and smaller towns probably definitely not, and I think they added it for Mark, that's no. I don't think that's an issue, I think it was obviously added for Mark, because he was into it. Do we need to keep it, or do we not need to keep it, that's not I mean, I'm kind of, it's either or to me, it's not. We can make it an agenda at some point, but as far as I know, he's-
Director.
yeah. I just look at it as a position not filled, and,
Okay.
it is what it is.
I just brought it up because I went through it.
Yeah.
Last reading. And also that's another page where you might want to change select board chair to co-chairs. If that seems to be the way things are
Do
gonna run in the
co-chairs?
future. Or if that's in-house. And, also on that page.
Chair slash co-chair.
Also on that page, I noticed the absence of the town administrator. And I thought, well, okay, that wasn't Becky just took an interest and it really wasn't. But then when you get to page 55, it's got the town administrator as an approving for using the community warning systems. The town administrator shows up all through the
I
town.
think the page, which page was it that you had first? This was minus succession of who takes command of the first. So
Oh, I
if
see.
Lenny's not there, then it's the next
Oh,
one.
I see.
If that one's not there, then.
Thank
then
you.
it goes down the road.
Yeah.
The select board is
Okay.
the one after.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. That
Yeah, it's
explains
line
that.
of succession.
My
rather
take on the
than-
administrator is the administrator basically just does everything, but kind of doesn't have the authority to do it, other than
Yeah.
acting as.
Well, she does, that she or he, whoever it happens to be at any time, does have quite a role in announcing.
Yeah.
Let's start, at least. Okay. So starting on page 49, I thought, wow, that's really where the stuff is needed for the tabletop drill. It's all about, the steps and stuff, so I was just commenting that. Do radio frequencies ever change? I saw that, and I thought, I don't know about.
They do when they, every number of years when they change all the radios.
So are they still current? Did anybody check those to see if they're still
We
right?
should be in the 800s,
It's
800,
page
yeah.
yeah,
52.
52. That says 400, so yeah, we'll update.
Catch on that one. Yep.
Good.
On page 58, this is more take or leave it, but I was town clerk for 20 years. And technically, it's a vault, not a safe that the town clerk has.
On which page is that?
Page 58,
Town clerk's records.
Yeah.
yeah. It says safe, and there's some rolling safes in there that are in the old town
You'd
hall
rather
that
see
are
it-
empty,
you
so
want
vault
vault.
is the correct term. And that just from the assessor's point of view, because so much of it on one of these pages, it might be that one involved assessor's records, don't ask me why, but the information is correct as is, and wherever that was, seems like it was on page 58. Page 60. I was just guessing that WEMLEC must be something about, yeah. Should that be spelled out so people know what it is or not necessarily?
West,
Well, I guess it would sort of depend on who's needing to know that, so we know what it is.
Okay.
But I think the average person might not.
Yeah.
It is an open document, so any acronym needs to be spelled out.
That's what I.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. So we'll just have to,
So-
One time.
so
Yeah.
even when we put down DPW, mutual aid,
That's a little more self-explanatory.
I know, I'm just.
Yeah,
well,
but
I think
but
we
the
could
first
do,
time it
is the
shows up-
first time, oh, sorry.
Yeah, the first time it shows up, you should always spell it out, and then after that, it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
But if it's something very special like that in a list, it should be.
You spell it out and in parentheses, the abbreviation.
Yeah.
Then you can just use abbreviation all the rest of the
You
time.
just have to do one on the first,
First
Time it comes
existence,
up,
first
and
time
then-
it pops up,
okay,
yeah.
yeah,
Or in a bulleted list.
yep, something like that, pet peeves. For what?
Pet peeves.
Remember remember when we were in that training, they
Oh, yeah.
said not to use acronyms because you
Yeah.
don't want
Yeah,
people who volunteer don't know the language of emergency management. Or
Yeah.
acronyms, so we, to spell it out.
about 15 years ago, we switched over to plain English for the fire side on the radios, because it's too much for call volunteer firefighters to know every acronym.
It's a new language, isn't it?
So it's Western Massachusetts Law Enforcement Council, Western Massachusetts Law Enforcement Council. And, it is a mutual aid frequency. I was afraid I was gonna leave one of the letters out.
And it's a mutual aid, what?
Frequency.
Oh. Okay, somewhere between 60 and 65, and it might be right on page 60, it mentions all the different mutual aid agreements we have. And I wondered if they were still current and, are they housed somewhere? Do we even know where they are and where the word about them is?
I have our mutual aid agreements, and for law enforcement, I'm sure Lenny has his mutual aid
Every
agreement.
now and then I get something I sign for somebody. I don't really have a good spot where I have them all together in a way, which is something I should work on.
Could be an appendix to this.
Yeah, it's just pretty much known that, hey, if dispatch calls us, we go somewhere to help fix the problem.
Right, but there are specific wordings that selectmen, the boards, not all men anymore, but have signed over the years and
Yeah.
they're pretty specific.
Yeah,
It would be important.
So I can get mine together,
Cause then you understand what it is you expected and not expected to do. And
correct, yeah.
yeah.
We also have
I got the
a
tri-state,
map as well.
I got the tri-state one.
Mhm.
That's only valid for the people directly in tri-state, which is basically Franklin County and a little bit of Vermont, a little bit of New Hampshire.
But see, that develops an understanding for everybody to know who's available for what and not. So,
Or who isn't if we all have a disaster.
yeah. And then again, on page 65, I thought that it would be something useful for a tabletop exercise. I think you mentioned a tabletop exercise at the
Yes.
last meeting, so I just thought, and actually, I have to admit, I didn't get through the whole document, so I have no notes after page 65. Thank me that I'm.
I still think that, Howie and Leslie are the MVPs for tonight.
Totally.
Here
Yeah.
it had-
But somebody
Oh, yes.
could look at
Yep.
page 65 to page 90, because I didn't do it.
Well, we'll be expecting that next meeting.
Yep.
Here.
All right. Garrett, do you have a question?
Yeah, so on the signature page, which is page 4, it lists both David and Catherine Hilton as the Director of Public Health.
Yeah, that was one correction I gotta do, Dave Grenier. He's gotta get moved over to,
And,
yeah, like I said,
and so for
there's-
Catherine, it should list her as the Board of Health Chair.
Catherine Hilton should be direct.
Board.
Board.
There.
Okay.
The only way to remember where the
Just
things
find out
are.
the more you gotta know. You gotta know.
Yeah, I
Don't
got
throw
lit
it
up.
away, Letty, stick them back
half of
together.
the
We'll get
postage
some
company.
executive
Yeah, you got stock in here.
Oh, there's more that's very probably.
So-
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's something I should work on. I could send this out again before next meeting, and then you can light me up again about it.
Yeah.
Lenny, I think you've done great.
And
You did.
something I was gonna mention, in that on page 55, the town administrator is the approving authority for the code red system and implementation and for news media, and she's got so many jobs, someone should point it out to her and teach her how to do it.
Well, we do have
In
the
time.
IPO person, actually, I ran into him, but
David Perlmutter?
yeah,
Yeah,
It needs to be,
yeah, I've never met him. I
we'll
know
have to get.
he's
you
been
meet him,
invited to
yeah.
every emergency management meeting. And
They may be too early for him, because I don't know how lady works.
and, I was just curious on town announce does let people know, is the town administrator who determines anything, even outside of this?
Determine,
What goes on town announce and who puts it
for
out?
Code Red, ideally it should be me, I'm the emergency management
No.
director.
For,
in
For,
general,
in general, because it was decided at the personnel board meeting that we should put the job assessor administrator, the assessor job description, request out, and I didn't
Yes.
know who I should turn to get that to happen.
between the TA and Brennan,
Okay,
although I have done them as well, so.
oh, good, because Brendan, I asked him today, he didn't know how.
He may not have been trained yet. but
Right.
do
I
know how
also
to
do them lessons.
You do,
Yep.
But job descriptions usually come from TA.
So anybody,
I'm happy to show you
anyone,
tomorrow.
okay, perfect,
Yep,
that would be great, I'd love that.
easy peasy. Code red, not as much, but.
No, I don't touch that one.
yeah, I started doing it a little bit with the firefighters, just try to get practice on it, honestly. I haven't done one for a little while with them, but.
Well, next time you do, can we come to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I'll put some corrections into here. And then send it out and let you guys read it again.
Good work.
Like I said, I'd really like to keep it simple as much as possible. And the only thing I want to add into it is a checklist for shelter, for emergency shelter.
And you're gonna spearhead that one?
I'll try to, yeah.
Okay.
You might want to put the new library on that list, like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we-
whispered library.
Yeah, I just scribbled that down
Yeah.
and do that. So. Okay, anything else on the sample plan? I don't think so. House numbers?
All right, house numbers. So my faithful sergeant here, the officers were able to collect a listing of all the houses that do not have green number markers. And so this is only green number markers, and I can send this out in an email. This is not necessarily houses that don't have any signage, it's just not the green numbers. So, I had a conflict last meeting, so I was reviewing the minutes from the last meeting. And it appears that you all talked about the association reports the cost to be $12 a sign, $9 a post. The high quality posts currently in use are likely more to purchase now. So do they not have any left over from the ones that weren't purchased?
Yeah, right now we have, the association basically bought all those posts and want to sell them at cost, what they cost present day. So that's the prices I came up with.
Oh, okay, so, and does that include the ones from the Lake Lenny, or?
So it pretty much includes a post and a sign. So when the firefighters association was installing the house number signs, whoever called the fire department, hey, I'd like a house number sign. Fill out this form and take it and it charged $30. And when we get a couple of them together, then we'll go out and put like four or 10 numbers up. out of whack, basically.
Mhm.
So, yeah, everyone that you see a sign with a post on it, that's hard doing. I'm sure there's a few copycats out there,
Okay,
but, because anybody can buy those
Sure.
post signs, onesies or twosies. So,
so what are we thinking? So the 12 and 9, 12 per sign, $9 per post, that's the cost,
That'd
that's
be-
at cost.
that'd be at cost, yeah.
And so what are we thinking? Do we want to get a message out to the community that we want to get more people with green signs and, you know, basically put out, if you don't have one,
Yeah,
I mean, how do you want to do that?
yeah, good question. I haven't given it quite too much thought about how to get it out. I think doing the town email is pretty easy, because that's
Yep,
write an email and then just putting on for the whole group of town, that's relatively easy.
Town announce.
yep. And we can also do,
Town announced email chain, right?
yes.
Yeah.
We can also do, ask the school to put
Put it
a
into the school.
advertisement in the newsletter.
Yep,
Mhm.
we
I
can do
Think that, you'd want to target the seniors too, and
And
they're.
For sure.
that. Gabe had a good idea a couple meetings ago about doing it and putting it in the tax bill.
Oh, that's a great idea.
What was it? So-
We come up with a flyer and we put the flyer in the tax bill.
Oh, okay.
So,
Check with Ellen to see.
if she'll let us do that.
So we need to come up with, you know, some wording on that.
You want to get it sometime this week and come up with,
We can, I'm gonna, Melissa is very, good at putting the things like this together. Do you want to help us come up with some language?
Yeah.
Melissa? Yeah,
I'm gonna be, so I gotta go. to something else.
Thanks for coming
yeah,
in.
thank you.
Tax bills go to.
Chat later.
Property owners.
Yeah.
This kind of is a property owner thing.
I would I would suggest you talk with Ellen about it, but that's kind of off topic.
Yeah.
I also-
Let's come up with a flyer first before talking to her,
I-
or
Yeah.
Right.
then we can come up with another way of putting it in the mail, other than just put it in.
And you may,
And the
you may
tax.
find that you're overwhelmed with, you know, installations. and-
I also want to.
How many
see-
was there that didn't happen? Or did that needed
We
one?
probably
Oh,
have at least 100.
we didn't have them numbered, Melissa, but I
No, no,
have,
that's fine. Okay. No, that's fine.
3 pages. 3 pages.
My guessing there's 100 there.
About that probably. So, also what I really want to think about is our senior population, as I talked about before, how they're on a very fixed income, a lot of them, and might still not be able to afford this 12 and 9, and how we can make this available to them.
I think
I know that the Council on Aging, you know, is at the end of their budget this year. But it's possible we could talk to them about assisting us with an amount. I know that, the Shutesbury Police Department has a, budget line for community policing. I'm sure that we can see some of that go to those specific, and not necessarily our senior population, but anyone sort of in that realm of in need and potential inability to purchase. And, you know, and then if people want to maybe donate more on top of that, you know, if they wanted to, they could. If they
Yeah.
wanted to purchase a sign for someone in need, I'm just thinking out loud, Melissa, ways that
Yeah.
we could maybe like word it.
I think that's all good. I think we should probably put a few things down on paper.
Okay, yeah, because I just
Yeah.
worry about the people that are going to pass it up again because they're,
They're the
I
ones who
think
really
the
need it
first
most.
request should be, so maybe we don't put the price on it initially.
okay,
Just ask them, just get them to contact us.
Roughly 327.
Oh, there's about 100 pages then. But-
yes,
It's about
yeah.
100.
So let's get them to interact. So let's say, like, you know, see where they interact with.
Okay.
And then maybe we do maybe more individually, because then they could share their situation. That might be an idea
Okay,
to announce it. these need to be on, why they need to be on. There is a small cost. And then go from there.
Yeah, and maybe we
Once you've
could,
engaged them, then we can do the.
right, and maybe, you know, if you're concerned about cost, please
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
reach out.
Yeah, so that it doesn't interfere them reaching out, and then you can assess who needs one that can't necessarily afford it, or can give a little, but not the whole thing, and that sort of thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
engage them, it'd be easier at that.
Okay, all right. And then the other question I had is, we did talk about, on the lake roads, how they're very close together. Are we not looking for people to get the green signs there, or we're just simply saying,
Those are people simply complaining,
But how many? there
complain
might be.
about them, there might be.
Awful.
I don't, you know, I've never really been in charge with numbering the lake or setting up the roads. I do know, at least 2 occasions, somebody stopped by at the station, hey, I just bought a house down at the lake, I want like one of these signs.
okay,
And then like, show them the sign, yeah, you can't do anything else, ah, I don't like the looks of it, literally, that was.
Okay.
That was literally, he didn't like the look of it.
I mean, we could bedazzle them or something.
Couldn't they just get
Yeah.
couldn't they just get the number part and put it on their house?
So I think that's what you said in the last meeting.
Code has required it to be on the house.
Yeah,
So they could just get the green, I mean, it is so much easier when it's right there on the roadway, but
Oh, yeah, it's so easy when you don't have your house numbered, but your neighbor has it numbered, that neighbor actually helps us find
sure.
that unnumbered house.
I just wanted to make sure you weren't
But-
thinking that,
Yeah.
or you weren't saying that they shouldn't have them down there, because
Yeah.
what for, for
No,
traffic or
I
something.
think, no, I think a couple of people said, I don't want to see posts and all the house number signs on certain, a couple of the roads.
The lots are only 40 foot wide,
Yeah,
so you'd be like a fence line going down the street. Some of them will do it, some of them won't.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
I see
I get it.
one on the street there itself.
yeah,
So
I totally get it, but
Where that could be,
but it's,
not on,
it's,
not on the edge of the road, where could it be in the middle?
yeah,
the thing of it
Yeah.
is, as they were pointing out, the gentleman paying for the Firewise program, it's a vulnerable area,
well,
and
there-
it's gonna be a balance.
right, exactly.
I think at the end of the day, if we can get like a quarter in that list, I know you want all, you want the whole list.
I think. this
I'm
is
looking
like-
at it as like, hey, if we get a quarter of that list, that's gonna make everything else a little a little easier.
Right, yeah,
So if you don't get
Absolutely.
100%, let's not look at that as a fail, let's,
and
Then
the
you try
vulner,
again, just try again.
yeah.
right, yeah, and our vulnerable population is what I'm really super concerned about. Yeah, I think that, so what, we'll just come up with some wording
Let's come
to
up with a
start.
wording and we'll come up with a flyer.
Yeah,
Whether
maybe
it's
put a
email-
picture of the sign so they know what they're looking at, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing, but.
No, it's not, no house number is. Although, like I said before, in Maine, they have them on the house, and they light up in red.
Yeah.
Do you want to get together and, sit down, or you want to email, shoot, I don't know what your schedule is looking like.
Might be easier if we all meet in person on this.
It might be,
I
hang
think,
on one second. let me look at
But that's just me.
Okay,
it. Maybe next week. Maybe the end of this week.
okay.
They have to shoot me something.
Well, you know, where Lenny and I are, so you just let us know.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at, I can work from home Thursday, Friday.
Okay,
So tomorrow's a little iffy so I don't know that I can do that, but Thursday, Friday, is kind of,
Yeah,
Okay.
Thursday is train drill night.
I know that.
But
But I can do it something after 3, so I can adjust my daily schedule, so
you
I
want
can
to do
start
like a
at
Thursday at 4 or something? That'll give us like an hour and a half,
or even a 3.
3?
3 would be so much better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm putting in on that's the first story.
It's Thursday.
If it changes in any way, you guys get a call, just.
Awesome. 3 o'clock.
How does that sound to everybody online? How we're going to hear it?
Sounds good to me. The other thing that I was thinking about is if we want to proactively think about how to address new building, new homes that are built, so that we don't find ourselves in a similar situation in the future where we've got a pool of houses that aren't marked.
Really good
You
point.
have to inspect them for fire.
Oh, it's a building
Uh,
inspector.
No,
I
no,
know.
well, before they sell, you have to inspect them for the fire.
Yes.
The fire extinguishers, or not.
I have to, for smoke inspection, I have to
Smoke
make
inspector,
sure the smoke detectors are code compliant.
Maybe at that point, if
Yeah.
you don't see a sign up front, maybe mention that to the
I-
realtor.
I have filmed several houses for not having the house number.
Okay, all right.
Even
so
though, I mean, code says it's gotta be numbered at the house,
Okay.
and I know one guy was balking at me because he had like 4 signs at the end of his driveway, it's like, it's not on the house, so, so rules are rules. So, yeah, that's kind of how, that's the only time I have teeth into enforce house numbers. Is
Yeah.
I won't sign the 26F if, and then you can't sell your house if you don't have a house number on the house.
So when a building inspector does the inspection for new
Instructions, yeah.
construction, then where does that go?
It's supposed to, when the certificate of occupancy, somebody builds a house, the building inspector will inspect the house several times, the wiring inspector will inspect it,
Right,
plumbing inspector will inspect it. At the last inspection, the building inspector will walk through, and if everything is on the up and up, they'll give them a certificate of occupancy.
so I'm thinking in regards to people here in town hall, like where does, like, if we could ask someone,
Board of Health gets it.
Board of Health, it would be,
They get the occupancy, that, don't they?
like, something that could trigger a new build coming, or a new build's, that we could then say, hi, welcome. You have signs. Are you interested? I feel like the sign pusher right now.
So right now, we only have like 1 or 2 building lots, like done
Left,
a year,
yeah,
left in
yeah.
a year, like.
Okay,
I think
Yeah.
Shutesbury's building
We're
boom
getting
is like
to it, like,
over.
with it,
I think,
yeah, we're-
I think we're down to like 2 building lots a year now. Like
Okay.
1. I think,
It's all renovation now.
it's all, yeah, it's
Yeah.
all
Most
renovation.
of the back
Oh, is it
acres
like-
is owned by Kohl's, so you can't build unless.
so the grapes maybe that I don't know.
I think that there can be a lot, there's the potential for more, because the zoning has
Yeah.
changed at the state
That's a good
level.
point, yeah.
I think that you're onto something. I think every board of health, as emergency, you assign the numbers, you
Yeah.
can tell the people,
And
right, when you're assigning the number, look,
There you go.
buy your sign right now, then the trucks know where to go. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
and-
Well, you know how many house numbers I've assigned? It's been like 2 so far, maybe 3
right, but
the
I'm
last
just
3
saying,
years.
in
for-
August of last year,
Yeah.
it became potential for a lot more older
Yeah.
lots to become building lots.
Yeah, that is,
So-
I did.
And we
I-
do have
as
that
a- as
accessory
you-
apartment.
As emergency management director and the one who assigns the
Yeah,
911 numbers, you'd be the key person to say it. It
Yeah.
doesn't hurt for Board of Health and everybody along the way.
I think we should come up with a good flyer
Oh, that's pretty.
and work from there.
Well,
The
all
more-
right,
The more
can
we pass
start
out,
with our-
the more we pass out the flyer, the better,
Okay,
Seems like an announcement at, annual town meeting for you.
Yes.
Force me to talk.
oh,
Well, it's scripted and it's only short.
Yeah,
I would just say too, that it's because maybe none of you know, but way back when I had put together a folder that's still up on the left-hand column in somebody's box. It might be fire here on the left side. There's somewhere in the middle, there's flyers of how to get a numbering sign, and it may not be consistent with what you guys are talking about, so it probably.
Oh,
should
might be a good
pulled
starting
at some point.
yeah,
It should
that
be-
is a good point.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I just saw it recently. It's
Okay.
still
Yeah.
there. It's a folder
Okay,
and it
Yeah.
has forms. in
yeah,
it
I have, that's the same folder, that's the same form I
You're
still have.
still using,
I
yeah.
still use, but I don't think anybody's came into the station asking,
Dave also has his.
okay. Dave?
So this flyer you're talking about is for the posts and the green numbers?
Yes,
Am I understanding that correctly? So
yep,
when you put the flyer together, going along with Kristen's comment about those that can't afford them, you could put if there's a hardship on the flyer, if a person can't afford it, but they want it, they could request, to sign it if they have a hardship. Just so that a person could have that sign if they wanted it, if they can't afford it.
yeah, I think that's
Yes.
good,
I like that wording too, Dave.
Yeah,
yeah.
that way there, they can just put a hardship request in, and then someone can review it and see if there's a hardship there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just made them.
I like that.
That was it.
all right. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, and I think we gotta kind of redo our flyer basically and come up with a game plan how to get it out there.
Okay.
I think that's about it for house numbers.
Yeah.
Do we have any reports, concerns of any boards or committees? Don't have anything. Should we talk about the next EM meeting?
Yes.
It seems like we try to do them on a Monday, the last week of every month for
Yep.
a while.
Well,
I
next
think-
month's gonna be a problem with the holiday.
Oh,
Okay. So we're talking about,
And it's the week of annual town meeting.
May 26th, Memorial Day,
Yeah.
basically. You want to try
19th,
May 19th,
that works for me.
5:30. I'm trying to move the days around and times around to make it easiest for everybody here. So if another time works better, I need to hear something. But it seems like 5 or 5:30 is kind of best for a lot of people, so. Want to go with, make a motion for a next meeting for May 19th at 5:30 at the town hall?
so move.
Second,
All in favor? Lenny, aye?
Let's, make these on.
Burgess, aye.
Price for die.
Andrew, aye.
Carol, I.
Simonson, I.
Can I just say, not just town hall, but Zoom, do we feel comfortable?
Oh, yeah,
that
we'll
we
do
can
both.
it?
Yeah, I just hate promising something if I can't make it happen, and
Well,
right
you
now,
did today?
I can barely make it happen, put it that way. So I hate really, promising something I can't do, but if I do this a couple times, I'll feel more comfortable doing it.
When you post the agenda, you can post the meeting at the same time. Oh, my God, it's a touchscreen, hold on.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I did today,
Can I
I
just
copied
ask
Yep.
back to the tabletop exercise, I was just thinking, is dispatch, invited / involved in that? Cam Dunbar's our new,
yeah, I could
supervisor.
ask him, I don't know if he's gonna wanna come out just for
Sure.
it. Well, he is on New Salem Fire, so I mean, New Salem will be invited, so.
Sometimes they like to be invited to these things.
Yeah.
They have insight sometimes that we're not thinking of if they
Yeah.
don't want to come, but I think it might be appropriate to
That's a
just
good idea,
send an invitation.
yeah, tabletop.
You guys talked about some updates on that 90 pages. Are you gonna do those up before the next meeting so that we can review it?
I'm gonna try to,
Yeah, especially the pages 65 to 90.
We're expecting a lot from you, ma'am. All right.
Bring a new pad of the pink stickies.
so,
Okay,
Yeah. all right, I'm good with closing down the meeting. Anybody else have anything else?
So if anyone's gonna just review 65 to 90, let's get those in as quickly as we can to Lenny before you start.
Try to email me,
Yes,
try to go.
try to email me beforehand.
yes, okay.
So then a motion to adjourn, so I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay,
Lenny, aye?
Thank you, Sunil, I'm sorry.
Burgess, aye.
Grace for die.
Ender,
Farrell, I.
Simonson, I.
Running around.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Hey, thank you.
Right.
aye.